What's up? I am Headless Nut Stark. Welcome to Raven Reviews. I am flying solo today. My main man, Ryan Milky, he's unable to join me today, but I'm still going to be breaking down episode 5. Wow. I don't even know where to start. This, man, it's like still shaking. I mean, this is, talk about some TV. I mean, the creators of this show are just doing a phenomenal job. I mean, every episode is just been on point, and the way they're developing these characters who aren't really in the show that much, even it's really unbelievable. I don't even, man, it's just another great episode. So I'm gonna try to break this down best I can with you guys. Um, Obviously chat about myself. So the more active you are, the better the stream will be. What's up, Christina? How you doing? Thanks for smashing the like. I literally just got done watching this thing. So, wow. I don't even know, guys. I mean, it was absolutely insane. A little bit slow in the beginning, but man, the last 20 minutes just wow. I'm gonna go ahead and do my best here. I'm still kind of reeling from this one. So we kind of start off then the episode. We kind of get a little bit of flashbacks with two people who we really did not know their names. So it's Henry and Sam. Henry, he's probably in his 20s, it seems like, and Sam is deaf. And I believe from the game they changed this because I don't think in the game he's deaf, but they changed it. And man, it just, I talk about this character building with these two. I mean, we don't really know anything about them. And the episode basically starts off kind of giving us like a little backstory of these two. And the doctor we see in episode 4, he's kind of like helping them to kind of stay away from, I guess what we're calling the resistance, or I'm not even sure what this group is really called, but and we find out that he's protecting them in episode 4, which is the reason why he is killed. And I just they do such a great job with the communication between Henry and Sam. And I don't know if I didn't really catch if they're brothers. I kind of had that feeling. But I'm not 100% sure on that. So if you know, chat, let me know what you think about that. I kind of gathered that maybe they were. And so what we end up finding out here basically is that Sam, or I'm sorry, yeah, well, Henry, I guess, kind of has something to do with what's her name? I'm not even sure the character's name, but I think it was Lydia or something. But somehow he has something to do with her brother dying, and this is pretty much why she's after him in this episode. I guess I'm just getting off the watch here. So we find that out, and then we kind of get some flashbacks of all of this. It's probably only about 2 weeks or so before we actually because we actually see him viewing Ellie and Joel from afar in the gunfight that we see in episode 4. And we kind of then flash back to where we are in the current timeline. And this is how episode 4 ended with Sam and Henry having Ellie, and Joel at gunpoint. So he kind of explains to them that they're after them and that they're not looking to harm them. And they've kind of been trying to find these two because they saw him take out so many of the people. And the plan that they end up discussing is that there is an underground tunnel that they can take to get kind of out of the Kansas City downtown area. So we find out that they kind of start working together, and Henry notices Joe takes out those guys, so he knows that he can probably help him in the tunnels in case there's any in the infected. So that's kind of what they discuss for most of this episode as they're kind of traveling together as a group of four. And then then it kind of all hell breaks loose, because then, like I said, the last 20-25 minutes of this, it's just it's just some of the best TV I've seen. I mean, absolutely incredible. I mean, after they spend about a half an hour just developing these two characters that we literally see for 2 seconds at the end of episode 4, but by the time they are actually in the tunnels, I mean, it's really just a really it's really just a great job by the showrunners to develop these characters so quickly and to make you care about them. But the so they're in the tunnels and they're kind of traveling through, and Henry is really, really excited about, he was kind of right, because he had told Joel that about 3 years ago, prior to this, that the tunnels were cleared, and the resistance did not know about this. So they're kind of traveling through, and and within the first half of the episode as well, you do get to see the development of a very friendly relationship between the kids. Ellie being 14, and Sam is probably around, I don't know, what did he say, about 9 or 10 maybe, I guess is what I would guess. So, but it's like just so quickly the way they develop that bond, and you see them playing like soccer in this indoor like little area that was it looked like it was made for almost like a preschool or like a little elementary school is kind of the vibe. And so that's kind of like where they end up resting and stuff. But anyways, I mean, they head out through the tunnels, and then they leave that area, and they kind of get out, and they're like, oh my gosh, like it's exactly how Henry had said. There's no sign of the resistance. There's no sign of or this government, or again, I'm not even sure really what they're called, but they kind of start walking, and all of a sudden they start getting shot at from afar, and there was like a sniper up in like a house. So they all duck behind a car, and Joel makes a comment that the sniper does not have the best aim. So he kind of comes up with a quick plan that he's going to swing around to the side and try to get inside the house and take out the sniper. And and he tells the three of them to just stay put, because he thinks he can get around it, because he's been showing that he does not have great aim, just for the fact that he probably shot at them a dozen times and wasn't really even close. So he ends up heading around the corner and ends up getting inside the house, and we see he gets upstairs and he sees an older gentleman and taking the shots, and Joe's he's thinking, he's like dude, he's like don't even try to because you could tell the sniper was going to try to swing that gun around and take a shot, and Joe's like, listen, don't do it, because you're not going to live. And then on the radio next to the sniper, the old guy, we see that there is a radio, and we hear that they're coming, and he's like, just keep them in the spot. They'll be there any second. And the next thing you would do is you flash back to the 3 kids by the car, and you hear a single gunshot. So the sniper's taken out because he was trying to swing that gun around and take a shot at Joel. So Joel just eliminates him. And then all of a sudden, this is just where it gets absolutely insane. They you can see that they're coming through with their big old truck that we got to see last episode, with the huge like the bulldozer end almost, and it says run, and they're flying through the middle of all these cars and stuff, and the 3 of them kind of just start taking off, running toward Joel. And so Joel just ends up taking some shots, and of course the gun jams. You get a load of drama with that, but Joel ends up taking a shot, and it hits the driver of the truck, and the truck kind of veers left and kind of crashes into a I guess it was like a building or a house or something. And the 3 kids then there's a huge explosion, and the three kids, kind of stuck behind a different car, because there's like a ton of cars just piled along the road, basically. So they all get out of the car, and the resistance leader, again, I'm drawing a blank on her name. I know Perry's the gentleman, like her like main guy. That's probably the head of the army or security or whatever. I don't think it's Lydia, but I can't remember her name right now. But anyways, so they kind of have the three kids kind of stuck there, and Joel sees that they have guns pointing up at the house because they know that's where the sniper was. And all of a sudden there's like it's a huge movement with this truck that crashed into the house, and you just kind of see them kind of start jackknifing like this, and pilots go straight down, and this huge hole comes up from the earth, and like you already know what's gonna happen. And you kind of hear some of the clicking sounds, so we know there's some clickers coming. And I mean, just a phenomenal shot of this huge hole. And actually, I actually started to get too excited about that. The right before that, Henry does step out, and they kind of have a conversation, him and the female leader. I don't know why I can't remember her name, but basically she wants to take him out because of what he did to her brother. And and then all of a sudden you get that noise and the truck dipping, and it's just a great scene. You just see all these infected just kind of grab onto the ground. it just reminded me of something straight out of like 28 Days Later, which is just another phenomenal film. Hey, what's up, Brian Milky? Yeah, dude, it's phenomenal episode. Phenomenal, 10 out of 10. You're gonna love it, dude. Yeah, Ryan couldn't be here, and the episode doesn't drop for him in the UK until Sunday. I'm sure we'll talk a few minutes about it on his live on Monday, but yeah, it absolutely amazing episode. How you doing, Umpty? But yeah, so all the infected, all their like hands, and all of a sudden they just taking a beeline to all these army guys, or whatever you want to call them, the resistance, and it's just a complete shit show. I mean, it's unbelievable what a great scene it is. And I mean, they're getting wiped out, bullets are flying. I mean, the three guys, Henry, Sam, and Ellie, they're just trying to make it to Joel, right? They're just trying to get away from all this. And I mean, it's crazy, dude. It's absolutely crazy. A couple close calls. Joel's like, just he's like, he must have went to Sniper 101, because that dude's just boom, popping all these infected right around Ellie. And then we see Henry and Sam got separated, and they went over to another car, and they were kind of like hiding underneath it. And hey, Nadia, how you doing? And Ellie, I mean, Ellie is a badass. She really is. Just every episode, her character is better and better. Great job by the actress, great job by the writers. So she heads over there, and then we kind of get some of the video game stuff, which is really cool. She comes over there with like I don't know if it was a shiv or not, but it was definitely some type of knife, and she's taking out these clickers because they're trying to reach for Henry and Sam under this car. And so she takes them out. She ends up getting them out of there. So eventually they do end up making it back to Joel. And then before that, we get, and this is actually before they start running, because I don't know how I forgot this scene, but out of the pit or the ground or the earth, whatever, we see these huge infected. And in the game, they're known as a bloater. Phenomenal. Huge. Think Andre the Giant, like compared to like, Willow. I mean, this thing is huge. And he takes out Perry, who's like, the female leaders. Again, Ryan, what's her name? it's not Lydia. I don't know why I can't remember her name. But anyways, it takes out Perry and just rips his head off. And I was like, oh, so I guess these guys aren't going to be in next episode. Because last week in our review, I had said that I thought that they might be in for like, a 3 to 4 episode story arc. And, and I also made a mention that I was hoping that it wasn't going to be The Walking Dead, like where we get this group of bad guys for like the rest of the season and they have to get away from them. I mean, well, Perry's not going to be in it because his head's gone. I mean, so this dude probably had maybe 10 to 15 minutes total screen time, if that. And so, yeah, the bloater's following and actually Ellie ducks in this car to kind of get away from a few affected. And this is a really creepy scene. A clicker, like it's a child clicker. So you can tell it's like probably about the same age as Ellie, follows her into this car and talk about like a claustrophobic scene where just like you're like, oh my gosh, well, like I was thinking like what the heck would I be doing in there right now with that thing? She ends up getting out of there and kind of like slams the door and you can see her like the clickers like scratching at the window and everything. But yeah, so they end up going over to they're kind of heading toward Joel, and then the female leader kind of catches them, and it looks like she's about to shoot Henry, and then that same little girl female clicker is like right behind her and just boom, rips her apart. Crazy. And then we kind of do like a little flash where you can tell that they at this point we're going to escape, and they find like this motel. It looks like a motel room or something, or like like an outdoor motel, and they're kind of resting there, and you can see that they're just they got away. That that resistant group in Kansas City are now gone, and we see Ellie and Sam. They're kind of like reading a comic book that she had found earlier in the episode. And Joe and Henry are talking, and Joe brings up the fact that if Henry and Sam wanted to come with them, that they're headed to Wyoming, and they're more than welcome to tag along. And so Henry agrees, and he goes into the room with Ellie and Sam, and he's like, well, we have a big day tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. And during this episode too, it was really cool. We got to see Sam's communicating with like an that's not maybe is it called an essence sketch, something like that. It's like the old thing where you used to write and then you would lift up the plastic and would erase the words and you put it back down and you keep reusing it. It's kind of like an etching sketch, I guess, but she kept that's how Ellie was communicating with Sam a lot in this episode. And I think they ended up finding that back at the little built like school in the tunnels. But anyways, so Sam comes in, tells them to get some sleep, and they have a big day, and he closes the door, and then Ellie, goes and says, no, she wanted to finish the comic with Sam. So they're reading the comic and everything, and Sam asks her a question about, is she ever scared? And Ellie writes back on the etch and sketch and says, no, do I look scared? And so they kind of have a small conversation back and forth. And earlier in the episode, which this is one part I did forget to mention, we do find out that Sam actually at one point had leukemia, and the medicine was very, very scarce. So they kind of talk about that a little bit, and so what ends up happening is the question is asked by Sam is, if the monster gets you, does it stay with you? And you can kind of see Ellie is confused by this, and we find out that that Sam ended up getting bit. I would assume at some point when they were under the car. So Ellie says that her blood is like medicine. So she takes a knife and she cuts her hand and she kind of pats, it's like on his ankle, or on his, like almost like his shin, and ends up like kind of putting her hand on that wound. And Sam says, do you promise that you'll stay up with me? And she goes, I promise. And we kind of get like a little flash or whatever. And we kind of see Ellie kind of sleeping in the chair. And as she wakes up, APDX, what's going on, man? Oh, you haven't watched it? Yeah, I would mute then, dude, because I don't want to ruin it for you. Because I'm at the ending right now. Watch it on the replay. Yeah, okay, dude. So then we see Ellie wake up in the chair and she had dozed off, and we see Sam kind of sitting at the other opposite end of the bed, looking out the window, and the sun has come up and it's morning. So, we're obviously hoping that the medicine worked or her blood worked. And we go ahead and go to Ellie, and she kind of walks to the other side of the bed, and she's like, "Okay, Sam, how you doing? How you feel?" And he basically jumps at her because he is now turned into one of the infected. And Joel wakes up, and Henry wakes up because they hear her screaming, and they end up. What ends up happening is they come through the door into like the main living area of the hotel room. And Henry right away pulls the gun on Joel, and because Joel was about to shoot, and what ends up happening is Henry then realizes what's going on, and he ends up shooting Sam and kills him. And then I think Joe in the back of his mind knows what's about to happen, and he tries to talk Henry down, and Henry is just in complete denial of what's going on. And he is basically like, yeah, what did I just do? He's like, like Sam, wake up, and just completely out of it. And what ends up happening is Henry ends up killing himself as well. He shoots himself in the head, and Ellie and Joel just like, these two have been think about what they've already been through in the last 3 episodes. Actually, last 2 episodes. A lot of killing that they're doing and seeing, and now they lose these two. And after Joel had lost Bill in the last episode, so again we're seeing these characters that are in these one episode arcs almost at this point, and literally no one's surviving. So they're just kind of on their own still. So we end up seeing them bury them, and on the Etch-a-Sketch we see Ellie write, "I'm sorry." And she leaves that on top of the grave. And I think at this point, Ellie is, she obviously has seen a lot. She's only 14. She's already been bit twice. And at this point, she's seen so much. And she just is like, this is just the way the world is, I guess. Like I said, she got real tough skin. And she basically turns to Joe and says, after she lays the Etch-a-Sketch on the grave, and she's like, which way's west? And she just starts walking, and Joe's kind of just standing there with a shovel. And basically she yells back, she's like, "Are you coming?" It's almost like she took the lead here. It's really interesting dynamic between these two right now. So it was almost like Joe was hit harder by this than she was. So yeah, absolutely crazy. Great episode though. Like I said, just they knocked it out of the park again. And every episode has been fantastic. But I know there's not too many people in the chat. So if you end up watching this on the replay, let me know in the comments, what you thought about the episode. I did not watch the preview for next week. I did not watch the after show. I'm actually going to do that when I get off this live. But I wanted to come in today and at least talk a little bit about the episode. I didn't want to miss a week. I know this is kind of a little different week because Ryan was not able to be here, and the Super Bowl is Sunday. So my regular live, we're not going to do my regular live Sunday, and it's just going to be too much. But again, we'll be back on Ryan's channel on Monday. We'll be breaking down The Force Awakens. We are now in the sequel trilogy. And I'm sure we'll be talking a little bit about this episode as well in the live. So, yeah. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you hanging out for a little bit. Again, let me know in the comments what you think. Head over to if you go to youtube.com/@Raven Reviews, go ahead and subscribe over there. What I'm going to do is for the rest of The Last of Us, we're going to be streaming on our individual channels as Raven Reviews, but we're going to be posting edited and cut up videos of our lives that just aren't quite as long. So if you are not able to catch the live and you don't want to, sit here through an hour of the talking and just kind of like, breakdowns, we're going to try to make the videos a little bit shorter, and we're going to be posting those on Raven Reviews. So my hope is that I will get that posted for you tomorrow. All right. Anyways, appreciate you guys hanging out for a little bit with me tonight. And like I said, we'll be back live on Monday on Ryan's channel. And I know it was dropped earlier in the stream, so you can check the live replay and grab his link if you're not subscribed. And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and drop the link for Raven Reviews. Give me one moment, and I will do that for you guys. And like I said, if you want to go ahead and toss a subscribe over on that other channel, that for right now, what we're doing is when we do our breakdowns that is not on our typical channel, we're just going to make short edited videos over there. And there is the link for that. All right, guys, appreciate it. I'll see you on Monday. And yeah, I hope whoever you're rooting for the Super Bowl wins. I'm personally rooting for the Chiefs. So, all right, peace out. Stay milky. Keep those heads on, and we'll see you guys in the next live.